Just a quick note, unlike my previous videos, some swear words in this video will not be censored due to the nature of this essay. If you are watching this without headphones, in a public or academic environment, viewer discretion is advised.
Say again? Damn it!
What?
O'Neill's out of town, can't be reached. Damn it to hell and back! Damn blast and double damn!
Why do we use swearing in storytelling? Why are people's opinions of it so varied? Is there an art to using it? Today in this video, I want to talk about the various ways profanity can be used in fiction. Swearing comes from cultural taboos, such as sex,
Yeah, okay, fuckity bye.
defecating,
That is one big pile of shit.
or religion.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
But how can they be used in fiction? Offensive words are not just used to tell the audience that the character is angry.
Jesus Christ!
Nor is it just used to show that a character is surprised or in pain.
What are you clapping for? Shit, that really hurt!
It can also be used to tell a lot about a character. In the film Fargo, the character Jerry is awkward at swearing.
You darn tootin'. So damn.
It's very mild and he says it without confidence, illustrating his meek attitude. In contrast, Rick from Rick and Morty swears a lot, showing him to be a crass and uncaring person.
Because of you!
You, Summer, and the government, and me for letting my guard down, which I will never do again.
Jeez, Rick, you can't say F you to your granddaughter?
I just did, Morty. Here's dessert. You.
Rick's grandson, Morty, is less confident about swearing, but as the series progresses, Morty starts to use stronger swear words, signifying that he's becoming more like his grandfather.
Mr. President, if I've learned one thing today, it's that sometimes you have to not give a
The type of profanity used is also dependent on the story's setting and time period. For example, in Jeeves and Wooster, the main character, Bertie Wooster, is an upper-class gentleman living in the 1930s. To reflect this, writer P.G. Wodehouse used 1920s and 30s slang to replace most swear words in Bertie's dialogue.
Well, of all the bally nerve, Jeeves. So?
Expletives can also be used as a form of shorthand for a cultural divide. In the television adaptation of Jeeves and Wooster, tame exclamations are generally used by the English characters.
Good heavens. Jeeves. Marion does not want to see you. She was going to said as much last night. What rot?
And the characters who use stronger words are usually Americans.
The hell does he do that for?
I don't owe you one goddamn red cent.
The same method is used in the first season of Fargo. Tamer language for the locals,
For Pete's sake, Bob, don't spread rumors.
and stronger language for outsiders.
The shit they make us eat.
If a character exclaims in another language, it's likely that English is not their first language. In the visual novel The Blind Griffin, the protagonist says an expletive in Cantonese. It's established in the story that she's Chinese. A character's reaction to the expletive can also say a lot about them. Look at Bertie's aunt, and the surrounding beachgoers react to his rather tame exclamation.
Look, I don't want to go to any blasted museum.
Kindly restrain your language, Bertie.
Made-up swear words can be used as a form of world-building in a fantasy setting. In Watership Down, the rabbits use the word frift. There's a scene where one of the rabbits, named Bigwig, says, "Talk sense for frift's sake." In Watership Down, the Rabbit Society believes that the world was created by a being known as Frith.
Long ago, the great Frith made the world.
Many stories set in a different universe will use swear words that are different than our own, sometimes referencing fictional religions and deities.
Oh my glob. Is everyone at church? Worshipping glob?
So once you've used swear words to establish character, what else can you use them for? The British political drama The Thick of It and its spin-off In the Loop are genius because they manage to have a lot of swearing, but they work. The series' main theme is about the abuse and power of language. The character Malcolm Tucker is a spin doctor who controls and guides the other characters by teaching them how to use particular wording to avoid scandal.
May I just quote it to you? The Prime Minister is the right man for the moment.
Yeah, that's what you told me.
Of the moment, of the moment. I told you to say of the fucking moment. There's a huge difference between me saying to you, Nicola, I would like to go for a lovely walk with you. And Nicola, I would like to make a hat out of your fucking entrails.
In The Thick of It, Malcolm swears the most amount and the most creatively. illustrating that he has the most power despite not being the Prime Minister.
You should tell me about it because it's a scheduled media appearance by this department's Secretary of State, so therefore it falls well within my purview.
Within your purview?
Yes.
Where do you think you are? In some fucking Regency costume drama?
One episode has no swearing, and it's because the power has been stripped of all the recurring characters, including Malcolm.
How dare you blame me?
Swears are also affected by not just how taboo the word is, but how taboo it is for the character saying it. A character who never swears will have more impact if they curse during a scary or dramatic scene. It shows the importance of the moment, especially if the character has never cursed before. As comedian and musician Mike Falzone points out,
I'd say most importantly, best possible candidate for calling people out are people who don't normally swear. Swearing in front of someone that isn't used to hearing you swear is groundbreaking. The truth will hit them like a blizzard in the pants. And now this guy or girl is like, whoa, even the voice of reason is
it
pissed.
can also be used for political and social commentary. In The Catcher in the Rye, the protagonist, Holden Caulfield, sees the F word written on a wall. But the novel is against the use of the F word because Holden then tries desperately to scrub off the word himself, because it was written next to a school and he doesn't want young children to see the word. This is an observation on how Holden is a dying breed. He has a sense of justice and cares enough to want to prevent a small disaster from occurring, but since he's only one person, it's almost impossible. Compare it with To Kill a Mockingbird, which uses the N-word, but is a story about the negative effects of prejudice. Just because a work uses swearing doesn't mean it supports it. Profanity can also be used to set tone and tell the audience in no uncertain terms who the intended demographic is. This is especially noticeable in Western animation, as there's an untrue belief that animation is just for kids, as if animation is a genre.
People think of animation only doing things where people are dancing around and doing a lot of histrionics, but animation is not a genre. And people keep saying, the animation genre. It's not a genre. A Western is a genre. Animation is an art form, and it can do any genre. And next time I hear, what's it like working in the animation genre? I'm gonna punch that person.
Since most swear words are not allowed in children's media, works that look like they're for young kids can sometimes set the record straight by including adult language.
Bring me as many naked women as my poor eyes can stand.
Jesus, Max, you don't even like girls.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The visual novel Doki Doki Literature Club appears to be a bright, friendly game, but after the plot begins to take a darker, more adult tone, the dialogue starts to include swear words. Swearing can also be used for comedy. Some jokes only work because of the swearing.
What in the name of Shakespeare's ass is going on here?
Removing the swear words makes it no longer funny.
Where the bloody hell have you been?
You can also use it as a visual gag. Since swearing is considered taboo and crude, having a sophisticated, classy character swear can be funny because it's a juxtaposition.
I could see that it was Count Dracula. Why, good afternoon, Count, I cried. I wasn't expecting you until this evening. Have you come to enjoy the spectacle? Spectacle? The solar eclipse. He looked out of the window. Solar eclipse? Yes, it's the first total eclipse I've ever seen. Exciting, isn't it? Oh, shit.
The mental image of Count Dracula, an icon of Byronic dramatic literature, swearing like that is funny. Another Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie sketch uses one swear word repeatedly.
Wrong, Jacobson. I was not gonna rearrange your ass. I was gonna boil your ass in a bag and have that ass for breakfast. Have the ass.
But then this happens.
Jacobson, sir, shut your ass. Nobody likes a smart aleck.
The audience laughs because during the one time everyone's absolutely sure he's going to swear, he doesn't. In A Bit of Fry and Laurie, the Be Nice rap uses what can be considered a swear word, but it's revealed in the next line that it's not used in its offensive context. Turns out they were actually talking about their pet dog. And then there's accidental obscenities created by placing two innocent-looking words too close to each other, using an unfortunate font choice, or by saying a sentence that could be misheard.
All we know about is making cheeses, and some rather popular cheeses at that.
We're more popular than cheeses.
Buddy, be careful.
What did you say?
I said we're more popular than cheeses.
Guys!
Comedy can also be found in censoring a non-offensive, perfectly normal word.
Yo, what up, guys?
What's up, Kev? You want to grab a sub with us?
No, I'm good. You guys yourself, though.
What did you just say?
Did you guys hear that? Yo, what up, guys?
What's up, Kev? You want to grab a sub with us?
No, I'm good. You guys enjoy yourself, though.
An amusing bug that's been found on the game platform Steam is author Philip K. Dick's surname being automatically censored on Steam's forum, much to the irk of many science fiction-inspired game developers. This computer issue of finding swear words in harmless text is what's known as the Skullthorne problem, named after an incident in 1996 where the residents of Skullthorne, North Lincolnshire were prevented from creating AOL accounts because the site's profanity filter blocked the name of their own town because of the word it contains. The same incident was repeated in 2004 when Google's Safe Search filter forgot to whitelist the word Skullthorne, preventing its residents from Googling local shops. Speaking of censoring, what if you want to include swearing in a work without actual swearing? The first thought would be to add a bleep to censor the word.
Hey, none of you so much as unless I say so, capiche?
In literature, you can get around this by describing the act of swearing rather than the swear word itself. Author J.K. Rowling uses this method in Harry Potter. Another option is to have a loud diegetic sound played over the cursing. Diegetic sound is audio that exists in the story's universe. You can add an interruption.
That, for example.
You sneaky son of a...
Watch it. You're in a church.
Switch the last word. Or use symbols. A less wall-breaking method of portraying swear words in fiction is to replace profanity with tamer exclamations.
I'm free! I'm free! Dang it!
Replacing real swear words with fictional ones can also achieve the same effect. In the video game Ghost of a Tale, an expletive used repeatedly is the word scrunt, described in the game's codex as a word too rude to define. In The Adventures of Tintin, Captain Haddock has a long list of different words he yells in exclamation.
Blistering barnacles! Are you all right? Billions of blistering, bilious blue barnacles! Thundering typhoons! That's all we needed! 10,000 thundering typhoons! Now what?
Other characters have their own expressions.
By the whiskers of Gervitage, foiled again!
This implies that the Tintin series exists in an alternate universe that doesn't have the same swear words as our own. Compare this with the series Gravity Falls, where the character Grunkle Stan soft swears, implying that actual swear words don't exist in his world.
Hot Belgian waffles! What happened to my parlor?
But then later on, it's subverted when it's revealed that Stan actually knows real swear words.
God, hot Belgian waffles! Wait, I'm alone. I can swear for real! Son of a...
This adds to Stan's character because it shows that he soft swears because he doesn't want to curse in front of his great niece and nephew.
That's just the kind of bad language, and above all, endless references to parts of the body.
So why do some people not like it? Well, swear words inherently have a link with taboos. They hold feelings of aggressiveness, rudeness, and offensiveness.
You're off the hook this time because you didn't know what you were saying. But I hope you know now that swear words are not appropriate things to say.
But why? What do they mean?
I guess you could say they mean I want to hurt your feelings.
Due to this, profanity in media has age restrictions, with certain words not being allowed in children's shows. The irony is that, in reality, kids can swear too.
It's not for kids.
It's called Kids Show.
It's got violence.
Kids love violence.
It's got bad language.
You've never been a kid before if you don't know the kids love bad language,
Well, it's got drug references and sexual references.
Exactly, it's got drug references and sexual...
What? I haven't met anybody who's truly shocked at swearing. Really. They're only shocked on behalf of other people. Or they say it's not necessary. As if that should stop one doing it. It's not necessary to have coloured socks. It's not necessary for this cushion to be here. But is anyone going to write in and say, I was shocked to see that cushion there. It really wasn't necessary? No. Things not being necessary is what makes life interesting. The little extras in life.
On the other end of things, people may be fine with swear words being used in fiction, but simply don't like how swearing is used in a particular work. So what are some bad uses of swearing? One bad use is to include it for the sole purpose of shock value, or to get the age rating up. When a film adds in a swear word, and it's clear that it was only placed there to avoid a G rating, that's bad writing. Overusing it to the point where it provides nothing can be another reason. The game Raven's Cry originally had a pirate who constantly shouted "Be brave," followed by a random obscenity during cannon battles.
Be brave, you cocksuckers! Be brave, son of a bitches! Don't hide, you stupid shithead!
Players found the profanity random and unintentionally funny, and eventually these curse words were removed in a patch. Another writing fumble would be using swear words that don't fit in with the story's setting. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword was repeatedly criticized for its use of modern-sounding profanity in an Arthurian setting, as Double Toasted put it in their review for the film.
There's a part where he goes like, "You're taking the piss." I was like, I don't know if they said that back then.
No, there's a lot of anachronistic colloquialisms.
Everybody keeps calling Arthur, "Hey, boss."
Yeah.
Hey, boss. I'm like, yeah, mate. Mate.
No, mate, I don't think so.
And there is still debate among players as to whether or not The Witcher 3's use of swearing fit in with its setting, as the game uses profanity linked with sexual acts and parts of the body.
Drink with me, you cocksucker!
Even though The Witcher 3 is set in a period inspired by medieval Europe, which historically found profanity linked with religion far more taboo, the counter-argument made is that the game is a fantasy version, with trolls and magic, allowing the writers to take artistic license and use whatever form of profanity they want. But other players question that if that is the case, The Witcher 3 could have gone further with it and made up their own swear words to help with world building, similar to how the Dragon Age series calls their deity the Maker.
Sweet Maker, could both of you please shut up?
So the next time you hear a character swear, consider this. Why is the profanity in there? Is it to show character?
You darn tootin'.
To reflect the setting?
Look, I don't want to go to any blasted museum.
For drama?
Where do you think you are? In some fucking Regency costume drama?
Or for comedy?
Jesus Christ!
As a storyteller, swearing is a tool in your toolbox. Use it wisely. Or just have Stephen Fry swear. That usually works.
Oh, John, if Marjorie should call...
If Marjorie should call, tell her I'm busy.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please share it and leave a comment, as it will help my channel grow and find an audience. Wanna buy me a tea? Then you can at Ko-fi. You can support my work by sending me a donation equivalent to a cup of coffee. Ta-ra!